When you buzz in, please wait for confirmation that it was your buzz first before you call out the answer. You all just played the semifinals, so we don't need to go over the rules. Is everybody ready to go?
Yep. Wait, so 50 to win?
50 to win.
And do we keep playing to decide?
7:30. Okay. Question number 1. This group traces its roots to a 1966 conference held by SESCOAD, whose members' study and travel were funded by the Ford Foundation. Military officers who opposed this group's policies included Ali Sadakine and Ibn Sutowu. The only member of this group to serve in the post-1997 reform era was Wijojo Nitizastra, often compared to Pinochet's Chicago Boys. That is Venkat. I'm sorry, no, that is Jack.
New order.
No. This group advised the New Order. For the points, name this group of economists who advised Suharto and are named for a Bay Area university.
The Stanford Boys?
No.
That's -1 for David.
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay, time. This is the Berkeley Mafia. Okay, question number 2. The 1851 Supreme Court case Strader v. Graham used this clause to recognize the authority of the Northwest Ordinance regarding slavery, laying the groundwork for the Dred Scott decision. This clause, which was proposed by Edmund Randolph, is immediately followed by the Supremacy Clause. Article 6, Clause 1 of the U.S. Constitution is, for the points, what clause which states that all federal debts under the Articles of Confederation remain valid under the Constitution? Time. This is the Engagements Clause. Okay, question number 3. This person described congressional district as being composed of 4, quote, concentric circles in a study of legislative campaigns. This person coined the term soaking and poking to describe a combination of interviewing and directly observing the behavior of members of Congress. A paradox named for this man refers to the idea that Congress is unpopular while individual members are overwhelmingly succeed in winning re-election. For the points, name this author of the book Home Style and Congressmen in Committees. Time. This is Richard Fenno. Question number 4. This statistical method analyzes individuals' binary choices to create normally distributed utility functions that can be plotted on a 2-dimensional chart. Keith Poole and Howard Rosenthal developed this multidimensional scaling method, one type of which relies on roll call votes and has a y-axis based on regional. Buzz over here.
DW nominate?
Correct. 4 or 5 points.
That is Jack.
Okay, question 5. This practice was the subject of the case Milliken v. Bradley in Detroit. This practice was ruled constitutional in the Supreme Court case Swan v. Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education and Colorado.
We got a buzz over here from Rajiv.
Well seen. Correct. For 6 points.
6:05.
Score check at 6, Rajiv 6, Jack 3, David -1.
That's what I had as well. Very good.
Okay, question number 6. An 1870 cartoon supporting this party, whose support declined after the Danville massacre, displays a wedge splitting the Solid South, saying death to bourbon-ism.
That would be the Readjuster Party.
Correct for 6 points.
That's 6 for David.
Okay, question 7. After running a chimney sweeping business in his youth, this man befriended Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer at Stanford Business School. In an upset, this man defeated sitting Attorney General Wayne Stenham in a primary to his first run for public office. To appeal to voters hurt by Biden inflation, this man campaign began offering $20 gift cards to anyone.
That's going to be Dick Burgum.
No,
Doug Burgum.
Doug Burgum is correct.
That is for Rajiv. So we have a -2 on David
5 points.
and 5 for Rajiv. I'll toss him 7.
Okay, question number 8. This legal concept of English common law was stated by historian Arian Chernock to have never applied in Scotland. The application of this law in the U.S. made it unclear if women were committing treason if they married a foreign national. Because of this concept, women could not enter into contracts without their husband's consent or own their own property in their own names, effectively made null by several late 19th century property laws. For the points, what is this concept by which a wife's legal identity was subsumed by her husband's? Time. This is coverture. Okay, question number 9. This man authored a piece of legislation mandating that all federal buildings be accessible to disabled people, and the Library of Congress estimates that more of this man's bills became law than any other congressperson in history. This man broke with political ally Ernest Gruening in the Senate race of 1968 by expressing his support for Mike Gravel, who defeated Gruening in the Democratic primary. Defeating R.E. Robertson in the election of 1958 for the points, who was Alaska's other...
That's Jack.
Young.
No. Other first senator after...
Thanks, David. Nick Beckich.
No.
Got a buzz over here. Arjun.
Bob Marley.
Correct, for 4 points.
Okay, so we've got -2 for Jack on number 9.
And -2 for David.
And -2 for David. And that's how many points for Arjun?
4 points.
4 points. Thank you very much. All right, ready?
Okay, question number 10. J.J. McRoach was one of the earliest candidates from one of these organizations in the 1970s, running for an Australian Senate seat in Victoria. Ali Aroke is one of the most prominent one of these organizations in Israel, but has failed to meet the representation threshold for the Knesset. One of these organizations achieved major party status in Minnesota after Michael Ford got over 5% of the vote in the 2018 auditor race. For the point, name these largely single-issue organizations.
Legal marijuana parties.
Correct.
David.
For 4 points. Okay, question number 11. This person's attendance at the 35th G8 summit was interrupted due to the 2009 Urumqi riots, and he helped develop the scientific outlook on development. This man promoted the concept of a harmonious society, which has been likened to New Confucianism. This man dealt with a 2003 SARS outbreak by firing Zhang Wenkang, and in late 2022, this man made international headlines for being pulled from his chair by 2 men in suits during the
Town.
Correct, for 4 points.
4 points for Arjun.
5 points.
5 points for Arjun.
Okay, question 12. This party's first official contest saw its candidate and founder get 97 votes in the 1983 Bermondsey by-election. Since 1999, this party has been led by former Ashburton Mayor Howling Laud Hope, who came in last in the, quote, fastest political party challenge on a 2003 episode of Top Gear. Rather than going hard or soft, this party has advocated for an al dente Brexit since 2016.
The Reagan Monster Party? Reagan Monster Party?
No.
Is that -2 for Venkat? That's a buzz over here for Jack.
Monster Raving.
Monster Raving Looney Party, yes. 4 points.
4 points for Jack.
No, sorry, 5 points.
5 points for Jack.
Okay, question number 13. Evelyn Brooks Higginbotham coined this term in a 1993 book about Black women's movements in the early 20th century. Ta-Nehisi Coates described this perspective as, quote, the inability to look into the cold, dark void of history in an article criticizing Charles Barkley. This perspective is associated with the pound cake speech and earlier comments made about dress by Bill Cosby. For the points, name this term used to critique the idea that members of a marginalized group should change.
What's the buzz over here, Venkat?
Intersectionality.
No, should change behaviors to achieve success. Time. It says respectability politics. Question 14. According to the 19th century Nuttall Encyclopedia, this phrase is used to describe, quote, mutual praise by authors of each other's work in academia. Davy Crockett may have been the first person to use this term on the House floor, and it is called waffle iron politics in Belgium. In the theory of property rights, Ronald Coase theorized that American legislators were incentivized to perform this action as transactional costs are low. For the points, give this example of a legislative quid pro quo.
So the buzz over here, Jack.
Log rolling.
Correct, for 4 points.
4 points for Jack.
Okay, question 15. In the case Novak v. City of Parma, this man wrote a unanimous opinion stating that a satirical Facebook page called We Know Crime could be interpreted as impersonating a police officer. This man was the first federal judge of South Asian descent. After Sri Srinivasan, this man was...
So the buzz over here, we got David.
Abul Sattar.
Correct, for 5 points.
5 points for David.
Score check.
I have -4 for Venkat, I have 10 for Jack, I have 10 for David, I have 9 for Arjun, I have 11 for Richie.
Okay, question 16. This term was first coined by architect Daniel Paralek, who cited examples of California bungalow courts and Massachusetts triple deckers. Some potential solutions to this concept.
So buzz over here, we've got Jack.
Missing middle.
Correct, for 6 points.
6 points for Jack.
Okay, question 17. In 2008, this principal officer was targeted by gunmen in Peshawar after which she was given the Secretary's Award for heroism. Bob Menendez and Ed Markey led congressional questioning before this woman was made ambassador to Armenia, and this woman formerly acted as deputy chief of mission in Ashgabat. On the retirement of John Sullivan, this woman was sworn into a new role where she serves from the Spaso House. For the points, name this current U.S. ambassador to Russia. Time. This is Lynn Tracy.
Those -2 for Arjun.
-2. Yep.
Okay, question 18. Due to his son being a student at the Virginia Military Institute, this man recused himself from the case that ruled that the school's male-only admission policy was unconstitutional. A ProPublica report described Miami.
Clarence Thomas.
Correct. For 6 points.
6 for Arjun.
Okay, question 19. In an essay for Slate, this man controversially claimed that judges did not need to study the history or implementation of the Constitution. This man criticized laissez-faire economics' impact on the Great Recession in a failure of capitalism. This man argued for reforming American laws regarding sexuality in the book Sex and Reason. This author of Economic Analysis of Law is the most cited legal scholar in history. For the points, name this retired Seventh Circuit Court judge, a leading figure in the law and economics movement. Time. This is Richard Posner. Okay, question 20. This party was founded in 1967 due to dissatisfaction with a Republican boycott of a referendum. Current members of this party, whose logo features a blue palm tree, include resident commissioner Jennifer Gonzalez and Governor Pedro.
Buzz over here, we've got Jack.
PNP.
Yes, for 5 points.
5 for Jack.
Okay, question number 21. This party experienced a resurgence in popularity after a prime minister from a rival party's Olshud speech was leaked to the press.
Buzz over here, we've got David.
That's 6.
Correct, for 6 points.
6 points for David.
Okay, question 22. One version of this theory claims that any independent agency, such as the Federal Reserve, is unconstitutional. William Barr's endorsement of a strong form of this theory prompted Tamsin Shaw to call him the Carl Schmitt of our time.
Buzz over here, we've got Jack.
Originalism.
No. This theory is based on a broad reading of Article 2 and holds that the presidency can only be restricted by Congress with Senate.
Buzz over here, Venkat.
Unitary presidency, like unitary executive.
Correct, for 4 points.
4 points for Venkat. And we had -2 for Jack.
Okay, question 23. The father of this person was known as the Sinn Féin rabbi for his fluency in Irish. With Michael Fox and Yaakov Naiman, this person co-founded one of the largest Israeli law firms. This man claimed that a certain document was, quote, devoid of any moral and legal value in a 1978 speech. And after that speech, this man took a copy of the aforementioned United Nations General Assembly Resolution 3379 and ripped it in half. Holding his highest post while men like Yitzhak Rabin and Menachem Begin served as prime minister. For the points, who was this Israeli president from 1983 to 1993? Time. This time Herzog. Okay, question 24. This country was the site of a 2000 coup where George Speight took the cabinet of Mahendra Chaudhry hostage.
Fiji.
Correct, for 6 points.
Arjun on 6.
Question 25. A ruling in the 1872 case Lowe versus Austin would establish this clause's original package doctrine, which would guide its interpretation for over a century. This clause's interpretation would later change due to the 1976 ruling in Michelin Tire Corps v. Wages. In the 1869 case Woodruff v. Parham, the Supreme Court ruled that this clause only applied when dealing with foreign countries and not other states. For the points, give the name of this Article 1, Section 10, Clause 2 that bans states from issuing tariffs without the consent of Congress.
Tax clause.
No.
Arjun? Yep.
Time. This is the Import-Export Clause.
And that came after the question, so it's just the name.
Score check.
I have Venkat on 0, who is at -4 and came back up to 0. I have Jack on 19. I have David on 16. I have Arjun on 18, and I have Rajiv on 11.
Very good. Same.
Okay, question 26. Bill Maudlin won 2 Pulitzer Prizes while working for this publication, where he debuted the stock characters Willie and Joe. During World War II, Andy Rooney reported for this publication from London, and Shel Silverstein produced cartoons for its Pacific edition. This publication traces its roots to the Civil War, when multiple Illinois regiments camping in Bloomfield, Missouri, began publishing their experiences. This publication is notably editorially independent from the Department of Defense through an ombudsman. For the points, name this daily newspaper of the U.S. Armed Forces. Time. This is Stars and Stripes. Question 27. Since 2020, this organization has been led by former Polish tourism minister Witold Bańka. This organization issued the 97-page McLaren report on one country's activities, which was the subject of the documentary Icarus. One commission led by a former president of this organization, Dick Pound, accused Vitaly Mutko of cover-ups, including urine samples at the Sochi Olympics. For the points, name this Canadian-based international organization that aims to monitor and advocate against the use of drugs in sporting activities. Time. This is the World Anti-Doping Agency. Question 28. This man was the highest ranking of 6 officials criminally charged by Spanish judge Baltasar Garzón, and he was targeted alongside Jay Bybee and John Yoo. This man was replaced by Michael Mukasey due to his controversial dismissal of attorneys like Paul K. Charlton and Todd Graves. This man who succeeded John Ashcroft in his post is the highest-ranking Hispanic American in the executive branch in history.
Mel Martinez.
No. For the points, name this man who served as George W. Bush's second Attorney General. Time. This is Alberto Gonzalez.
-2 for David.
Okay, question 29. Walter Wallmann was the only CDU member to lead this state in a period of SPD dominance from 1945 to 1999. However, the SPD has not led this state since then. The state's most recent election saw the Left Party, co-led by Elizabeth Kula, lose all of its seats, while a leader of a far-right party in this state said a coalition with the ruling CDU was only a matter of time. Led by Minister President Boris Rhein for the points, what is the German state where the AfD notably overperformed in 2018 and 2023 to become the second largest party in the Landtag, based in Wiesbaden?
That's a buzz over here. We got Jack.
No. Time. It says Hesse.
-1 for Jack.
Okay, question 30. Despite campaigning for the New Democratic Party as a teenager, this figure's views shifted after reading the Gulag Archipelago. As a speechwriter for George W. Bush, this man coined the term axis of evil for the 2002 State of the Union.
John Bolton.
No. State of the Union address. This man was dismissed from the American Enterprise Institute for a blog post that called the passage of the Affordable Care Act
Karl Rove.
No, a Waterloo for Republicans. Known for his intense criticism of Donald Trump for the points, who is this Canadian-American senior editor of The Atlantic and commentator on MSNBC? Time. This is David Frum.
Score check.
Yes, so Venkat on 0, I have Jack on 18, I have David on 12, Arjun on 18, James on -2, and Rajiv 11.
Okay. Same.
Okay, question 31. While running on a ticket with Gary King, this person lost a bid to become their state's lieutenant governor. In July 2022, this official broke their left fibula while hiking in Shenandoah National Park. Melanie Stansbury won a special election to fill the seat.
Dead Island.
Correct, for 5 points.
5 points to Jack.
Okay, question 32. The most recent election in this province left Douglas Lamont as the only Liberal member of its legislature. Heather Stevenson, the MLA for Tuxedo, served as health minister in this province, eventually rising to become its first female premier after the retirement of Brian Pallister. This province elected NDP leader Wad Canel of the Onagaming First Nation in October 2023. For the points, name this province the first in Canada.
Manitoba.
Correct, for 4 points.
4 points for David.
Okay, question 33. In an interview for The Hill, this person said they were denied an apartment in DC due to bad credit as they ran up a lot of debt running for
Frost.
Correct, for 6 points.
6 points to Jack.
Okay, question 34. In 2020, a former employee of this agency, Stanley Weber, received 5 consecutive life sentences for multiple offenses against children. One Trump appointee to lead this agency, Robert Weaver, withdrew from consideration after a Wall Street Journal article questioned his qualifications. Since September 2022, this agency has been led by Rosalind So, a member of Navajo Nation. For the points, name this agency within the Department of Health.
Bureau of Indian Affairs.
No. Tasked to provide services to Alaska Natives and federally recognized tribes. Time. This is the Indian Health Service.
That was -2 for.
That was -2 for Reggie.
Okay.
Okay, question 35. The case South Dakota v. Dole found that this amendment did not bar Congress's spending power to allocate federal highway funds. This amendment is the only one to have been approved via state ratified.
The 21st Amendment.
Correct, 5 points.
Okay, no ties.
Confirm the scores.
Yes, so I have, with 0 points, I have Venkat. With -2, I have James. With 9, I have Rajiv. In third place with 18 points, I have Arjun. In second place with 21 points, David. And in first place with 29 points, Jack.
Congratulations, everybody. With here, who's my 6th place finisher?
James.
First place.
Venkat.
Third place.
Rajiv.
In fourth place, Arjun.
Third.
And then our second place finisher is David. Our varsity champion of the National Political Science Bee is Jack.
All right, and we have been asked to have all of the finalists head down towards the help desk to get some pictures in the official picture-taking location. I hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend.
Yep.